Good morning, everyone. Welcome to another ITWeb webinar with a lot of interesting presentations today. We are going to be talking about business resilience. We are also today tackling a growing problem for a lot of businesses in terms of security resilience. What do we do around that? We have several presentations for you today, and I hope you will be for all of them. I hope you look forward to what we are going to be discussing today. And the one thing we have heard a lot in the while is how cybercrime has changed in the last decade. And to make that point, I have found this graph that you can see from PurpleSec, and it's quite extraordinary. This measures the amount of malware infections in terms of millions. And if you go look at 2010, we have 29 million roughly malware infections that were detected for this report. Time we get to 2018, 812 million malware detections. And this is pre-pandemic. So you can definitely see in the last 10 years, there's been an incredible growth in cybercrime because the world's become more digital. It's becoming more diverse, less centralized. All of these things show that the criminals are paying attention to that. Now, the question is, how does that translate over to what we are seeing in Africa? And I wanted to start by just bringing up some headlines recently that we've seen in the past year alone. First one here, we'd all be familiar with this. Transnet, believed to be a ransomware attack. They had to declare force majeure, meaning they couldn't honor contracts because this attack brought down parts of the facilities of the port of Durban, one of the biggest ports in Africa. That is insane when you think about this, and this was just a, let's call it almost routine infection, but it was enough to bring down those systems. We are also familiar with the stories of the hack attack, specifically on the Department of Justice. What's interesting about that attack is it may not have been monetary in nature. Maybe somebody were trying to get hold of certain information relating to trials and such. Yet, there you have it, another attack that brought down a public sector institution. Yet, private sector not immune at all. Earlier this year, you would have heard the announcement about Qsure. Qsure is an insurance company. They were hit by an attack. They did lose some customer details, though they were able to mitigate that to a large degree. And then the last one to come through, and this is perhaps the most shocking, Detonate. This hack was only revealed about 2 weeks ago. Detonate is a debt collecting agency. They found out they were hacked. They were hacked in April. They only found out 2 weeks ago because they found their data on the dark web. They actually found recordings with customers on the dark web. So they didn't even know they were attacked for, I worked it out, around 7 months. I mean, think about that. That is just really extraordinary.
Keeping everything running, making sure the systems are up, the applications are running, people have got access. That's a lot of pressure in any environment. And I think when you have a large-scale cybersecurity incident that affects your business operations, okay, it's often a very chaotic, very pressurized situation. You have regulators, you have shareholders, you have employees, you have customers, you have suppliers. So you have everybody that's dependent on your organization. It's a very pressured situation. It often brings the worst out of people. It's often a situation where people can't cope with the pressure and the stress that the situation brings in. And I think another thing that we've seen is that often, you may not be the only organization that's facing such a scenario.
The managed services offering does make it a lot more affordable on the basis that we look at this at a much larger scale. We are able to procure infrastructure that's deployed and then shared over a larger number of clients. And we're also procuring the technology supporting that at higher levels of discount because of the volumes that we procure in. This is not a fire and forget type of technology. It is complex. It takes a long time to fully mature, and it's a journey. It's never completely deployed. Our clients know that our analysts and our engineers spend a lot of time with them regularly, as often as weekly, to assess what kind of event sources we ingest, whether those are appropriate, whether it should be reduced, increased, or enhanced in some way, looking at the playbooks, looking at the use cases we've deployed, fine-tuning those so they meet requirements, they start eliminating false positives, and even worse, start eliminating false negatives, making sure those fire when they should and that they are accurate. That takes constant effort and attention.
But that brings us to the end of this session. Always exciting to talk about cybersecurity and what is moving forward. I'm really glad we're getting much more to the meat of this topic in terms of security services, the technologies being used behind it, and how we bring together. The topic we didn't even broach today is that these technologies are very complex and they need management. And frankly, your company's job is not to be a security expert. And this is why the MSSP model combined with these vendor technologies are so powerful. Stay safe, stay secure, and we will see you at the next one. Goodbye.